Hello everybody, I hope you are doing at least okay. I hope you're doing swell, but if you're doing just okay, then that's fine. Good vibes only. Anyway, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and based on the reception or success of this video, I'll keep doing videos under this format. But anyway, I asked you, the Sonic community, to give me your spiciest takes and unpopular opinions regarding the franchise, whether it be the quality of the games, what direction the series should go in, maybe some opinions regarding the characters or the music or the stories, so on and so forth. I'll be taking a look through what I consider to be the ones that are most worthy, and I'll give my reaction to them. Starting now. The daytime stages of Unleashed range from kind of frustrating to boring, since it focuses on linear, straight-line level design that encourages the player to keep holding boosts for as long as possible with very little focus on platforming. Frustrating, maybe, because there are certain areas where the game essentially feels too much like a trial and error, but boring? No. Not sure what you're getting at with the very little focus on platforming, because out of all the boost titles, the 3D ones at least, Unleashed has some of the strongest platform elements next to Generations, of course. Stages such as Rooftop Run, Dragon Road, and Arid Sands are all evident of this. The game is constantly throwing obstacles in your way that truly test how well your reflexes are, and being able to traverse through said obstacles while maintaining your speed is absolutely thrilling. To say that the entire gameplay is relegated to just holding the boost button for as long as possible kinda undermines everything that made the day stages so engaging and just plain fun. I think you might have gotten confused with forces here, because I really can't think of any part of this game where that's all you're doing is just boosting and nothing else. There's always some sort of challenge present. Shadow should not have stayed dead after SA2, and he peaked in 06. He absolutely did peak in 06, but I would also count the ending of SA2 as well. Great character arc. And yeah, I don't get why so many people wish he would have stayed dead following the events of SA2. I think the main reason why people argue that he should have stayed dead is because he's been written so haphazardly in damn near every incarnation since then, but to be honest, that's not really fair for the character. Don't blame the character just because people have no idea how to properly write him. Also, Shadow is the most popular character in the series, second only to Sonic himself. And maybe Tails or Eggman and Knuckles, so if you were never to return again, I can't help but feel like it'd leave a good majority of the fanbase disappointed. Oh wow, here we go. Ooh, this one's a bullet point one. This ought to be interesting. The main songs Crush 40 did for the games I never really cared for that much. Preferred all the other bands they got for main themes over them besides maybe Night of the Wind. Heroes has most variety when it comes to gameplay since you have access to 3 different gameplay styles in one stage, elevated by the level up system as well, which leads to dynamic gameplay. Tails has not been a good character since SA2. People say his downfall started in Lost World and some say Unleashed, but he learned to be independent from Sonic at the end of SA1. We got to see him do cool shit in SA2, but ever since then, he has been glued to Sonic. Shadow should not have come back to life. The Deadly Six could be interested in characters, but Sega makes them one-dimensional and make them act as a unit. That's all for now. Alright. Yeah, I mean Crush 40 can start to feel a little samey sometimes, but I just cannot help myself from loving their music. The music just represents the franchise so well, especially tracks such as Live and Learn and His World. Not only that, they just happen to be insanely fun and catchy rock songs too, even if they do sound a little hokey at times. As for the Heroes take, I do agree that the gameplay feels varied, but the most varied compared to 06 or SA2. Also, the upgrade system doesn't really do anything and doesn't benefit the gameplay at all outside of boss fights or those little badnik arena things, whatever they're called. I feel like the upgrade system could have given the characters different abilities and whatnot. Instead, it's basically just a straight damage buff, which is the most boring way to upgrade shit. And regarding Tails, yeah, he sucks in Sonic X. And even disregarding the whole, oh, he's a pussy meme, he still doesn't really have anything to offer outside of lazy exposition and whining. That's pretty much what Tails' character has devolved into since then, just a weak little exposition dump. A far cry from the heroic and brave Fox who learned how to be independent and step out of Sonic's shadow and do cool shit at his own, like in SA2 like you mentioned. And finally, regarding the Deadly Six, I'm not touching the Shadow one. I pretty much agree. Haven't played Lost World yet, but based on what I've seen, they just look like your typical big bad tough guys with very little personality outside of just conquering the world or achieving some other generic motive or something. Oh goody, we got ourselves a thread here. I've noticed that the Sonic community, not as a whole, but as a general trend I've begun to notice, nitpicks things. It's no longer about having fun. In fact, it never was. The community hasn't grown from the last time I actively participated in it. It's just like how it was in the early to mid 2000s, just with a new coat of paint. I've seen the community go on and on about getting one new game, all the while ignoring the massive amounts of media and content the series has gotten as a whole in the past 4 years. I should specify and put the focus primarily on the Twitter community. The communities in Discord and such are chill. I've seen forces stir up chaos simply because some kinda like it and even enjoy the game. I hate it, but seeing people actively shit on others for liking it is dumb. All in all, my hot take is that the Sonic fandom, no matter how long it'll exist, will always grow more and more toxic unless the fandom and general community as a whole learn to mature and actually better themselves. Oh boy, this is a long one, but I'm going to cover it anyway since I wholeheartedly agree with this thread. Sonic fans are pretty notorious for their constant arguing over the most trivial shit, no doubt there. Like, this is the community who have legit, no joke debates over how long his quill should be and what fucking shade of blue he should be. And about the lack of content then, I kinda see it both ways. I do think it's strange how one of the biggest video game franchises has only put out like 3 major titles in the past decade, but at the same time, Sonic has been running in fat sacks of cash these past few years. Whether it be because of comics, merchandise, fan content, and of course the film series that's up and running. Sonic's been making a name for himself lately. I get the complaints regarding the lack of game content, but I also think it's stupid that people get so up in arms over it when Sonic is essentially the most popular he's ever been in I don't know how long. Like, wouldn't you want to see your most beloved brand succeed? And about the Force of Sin, yeah, I kind of agree with you there. It's like my least favorite mainline Sonic game, but come on, they just like the game for some odd reason. I don't know why, I don't know what they see in it, but come on, don't harass and berate them. That's just stupid, and it does nothing. It gets nothing done, and it just makes you look like an asshole. Dimps has kinda sucked. Advanced 1 was like a 7 out of 10, so was Colors DS, but the rest are either decent but buried under too much padding to call good, or mindless levels until the later levels where they put enemies in the most dickish spots and suspend you over bottomless pits. I will say that the Sonic games Dimps developed can be really egregious to play, especially fucking Advanced 2, but at the same time, they are some of the most challenging Sonic games, and that's something I can appreciate at least. While the Advanced games kinda missed the mark most of the time, I feel like the Rush titles really showcase what Dimps were capable of. It was super challenging, super engaging, but occasionally annoying. But they are both incredibly fun as well, and they're rewarding for the most part. Also, you get to play as Blaze the Goddamn Cat. How in the hell are you gonna turn that down? 06, while janky, is some of the best level design in the series and the best character system so far. In the entire series, there's a bit too many automated segments for my taste. Like, I remember this one part in Kingdom Valley where there was like an entire 20-second segment where the game was essentially playing itself. But nonetheless, 06 has really solid level design. I love how open it feels and how there's always multiple paths to take in almost every area in any stage. I really feel like 06's level design is an evolution of the Adventure series, barring the automated segments, like I already said. And as for the character system, yeah, I'd also have to agree there. I do like how you switch characters mid-stage, which does keep the stages feeling fresh and varied. But the issue with that is hardly any of the characters are fun to play as. Sure, Sonic, Shadow, Silver, and Blaze are all great, but the rest range from meh to just plain terrible. The Amigo system is cool and I'd love to see it return, just make sure the other characters have decent gameplay first, okay? Gotcha. Escape from the City is a definition of a mid-theme? What? No. So far, this is the first take I've seen that is literally bad. Escape from the City, mid, with that endearing pop-punk instrumental, with that sweet-ass hook, with that badass attitude that complements the... With that badass attitude that complements the stage it's a part of. The song is a banger, and you're a big dum-dum for even thinking about calling it mid. I prefer Sonic 1 to every Sonic game other than 3 and K. Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles individually are lesser than Sonic 1, but they're superior once combined. Well, this one is interesting to say the least. I don't care if you love Sonic 1, but to prefer it over every other game in the series besides just that one, yeah, that's a little odd to me and maybe wrong. Sonic 1 is kind of a rough first outing too. A good majority of the game isn't even about going fast, and the level design is mostly consistent of boring platform and even more boring puzzles, both of which entirely restrict your speed, and contradict the whole element they were going for in this game. Also, the two Sonic games individually are more or less the same to me, at least I've always seen it that way because I've always had to play them separately. But yeah, whatever. Sonic & Knuckles is not good. Way to keep it blunt, and Ron. But anyway, while I do find it a little overrated, I still think it's a pretty great game. Again, a little overhyped, but it's still a pretty solid 7 out of 10 overall. Sonic Adventure is better than Mario 64, you know? You know what? I don't even know if I agree with you or not. I really don't. I'm torn. But... yeah, I think I like them both equally. They're both 6 out of 10s to me. The classic games aren't as good as people say they are. Like I said before, they're constantly held as masterpieces, when really the only game that deserves such a title, in my opinion, is Mania. CD, 3, and Knuckles are all great. The first one is kinda ass, and the second one gets horrendous towards the end, but this are pretty good, by the way. And while I do agree that they're a little overrated, they're still pretty good games. I do understand why so many people love these games. For instance, the physics and controls have aged phenomenally well, and I can get behind the whole momentum argument classic fans just love to use. But at the same time, I do have quite a bit of issues with both those particular games. For one thing, the enemy and trap placement can feel really abrupt and sometimes even out of nowhere. Seriously, there is some shit enemy placement in some of these games. Take Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2 for example, which is actually the worst example I can think of at the moment. Some of the shit you can't even react to unless you know every curve, crevice, and orifice of the stage. That and the only classic game with a good special stage is 3. Sonic Heroes is overrated as hell and the gameplay is slippery and buggy. It's a fun experience, but it's not anything special. The boss battles are grueling too. The sad thing about this is that I really want to love Sonic Heroes. Like, it's got everything you could ever want in a Sonic game. The cheesy, fun story, the beautiful art style, and of course, one of the best soundtracks in the franchise. And just charm all around. Too bad the gameplay could not follow suit at all. Playing Sonic Heroes, I'm constantly at war with the game's physics. The controls are so awful that nearly anything you do in the adventure games feel like a risk in Heroes. For instance, if you land a big jump after gaining a shit ton of speed, you will literally fling yourself off the edge and into the stratosphere. But clang, you know you're not supposed to hold forward when landing a jump, right? Okay, and that right there literally proves my point, because why is that something you should have to worry about in the first place? Why do you need to play the game in such a needlessly cautious way in order to prevent yourself from dying in those bullshit ways? When I'm playing a Sonic game, or any platformer for that matter, or any game for that matter, I hold forward after landing a jump because it keeps my momentum going. When you're not doing that, you stop dead in place when you land, completely killing off all of the speed you had gained prior instead of maintaining it like you normally would. So, yeah, no. And yeah, about the boss fights, they can literally be beaten by spamming the character actions, namely Thunder Shoot and Homing Attack. Just keep hitting that A button, guys. Keep on doing it. Sonic 06 is the best art style in the series. The tech simply wasn't ready. No, it made great use of technology, 2006 technology. From a technical level, it was one of the better looking games from the early 360 PS3 era. And about the art style, no, absolutely not. Hyper-realistic humans do not belong in Sonic, they do not complement each other whatsoever. Sonic sticks out like a sore thumb when he's traveling around this Soliana city or whatever. I'll stick with the Pixar wannabes from Unleashed, thank you. Sonic Forces is massively overhated. Is it easy? Yeah. Is it cheesy? Yeah. But the gameplay is solid for the most part. No. On the contrary, I think it's not hated enough. It's not only one of the worst Sonic games I've ever played, but it's also one of the worst platformers I've ever played too. The gameplay is a farthest in from solid. It is a downgrade in just about every aspect from the other Boost games. Earlier, some guy mentioned that Unleashed level design only consists of straight lines, where all you have to do is hold the boost button. And I said that's basically what Forces is. So, the general design philosophy for Forces goes like this. There will be a section that is entirely straight, where literally all you need to do is just hold the boost button. And in between those will be 2D sections that have some of the most mind-numbingly basic platforming I've ever seen since fucking Mario on the NES. Yes, that Mario. One of the first platformers ever made. The Avatar stages are designed the exact same way, except instead of boosting, you pretty much just have to abuse the Wispin. This game just offers nothing. It's not memorable, it's never challenging, hell, it almost feels like the developers weren't even trying. And did I forget to mention that the classic stages have absolutely horrible physics, even worse than the ones in Generations somehow. Oh boy, more bullet points. The Hedgehog is goated and just as amazing as Daytime. No. Advance 3 is easily the best too. Even the worst Sonic game isn't. Lost World is goated as fuck. Shadow's Betrayal and Forces is his best one, tied with 06. SA2 is an okay Sonic game, but a pretty bad sequel. Alright, let's just go down. Let's just go down before I get to that last one. Okay. Yeah, I would go down before I get it. Nope, the first one is absolutely wrong. The daytime stages offer some of the best gameplay of the Boost era, like I said before, while the Hedgehog offers some really basic, boring, and repetitive beat-em-up combat. Upgrade system is lame, enemies are total pushovers, the platforming sucks, the frame rate is hot ass, the physics are tanky as hell. I could go on forever, but there are more bullet points to go through here, so I'm just wasting time. Anyway, Advance 3, best 2D game? Nah, WrestleMania's got a beat. Can't say anything about Lost World, and Shadow's Betrayal and Forces is his best since 06, I will give it that. Granted, that's not really saying much, but I will admit Shadow is pretty decent in that game. From what I remember, he never really says anything edgy or try-hard like he normally does, and he is really open about helping his comrades, which is always so nice to see. I think the thing that actually hurts Shadow in that particular game is how little he actually appears in it. He doesn't really show up until the end. Thank God for that DLC though. But that DLC did kind of make Infinite's character worse, because it made us realize how much of a bitch he was and how stupid his backstory was. But hey, about Shadow, yeah, he was cool in that. And that last point, this is the one I was waiting for. That last point, I don't understand what you're getting at here. I don't. Okay, Sonic game, but a bad sequel? I don't get what you mean. How is it exactly a bad sequel? It evolved and improved on just about everything the first adventure game offered, which is what a sequel is supposed to do. Yeah, I don't see how it's a bad sequel. This is definitely the most confusing take I've seen so far. Sonic is inherently incapable of character development. I don't think that's necessarily a fair thing to say, because any character is capable of great character development, as long as you've got some solid writers around you. It's just a very fact that this hasn't been the case for Sonic in a long time. Anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this. I read about half the takes. The ones I didn't read are ones I either couldn't respond to, or ones that were just simply repeats of ones I already covered, and I just happened to get to those ones first. So if I didn't cover your hot take, please don't get mad at me. Do not storm my comment sections being like, oh, Klein, why didn't you talk about my take? It was such a nice, spicy, original take. Why didn't you cover it? Why? Well, maybe we should just wait until the next video, because I might make another video under this format again. It's pretty fun and enjoyable, and hopefully you guys will like it, and if you do, they'll keep coming. But for now, I gotta get back to writing reviews and lists and shit. So, yeah.